The mark of the beast. What is it? There's been a lot of theories out there and a lot of conjecture about what the actual mark of the beast is. So we're going to be kind of exploring that today, but it's not just about the mark. It's also going to be about the beast system that is established, that is described in Revelation. Let's start by reading Revelation. It's Revelation 14, verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And when we go over to Revelation 13:17, it talks about it as well. There's a couple places in Revelation, but it says that no man may buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So the first thing that we can note is that you would have to have the mark, the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So this is a system. It's a beast system. It's not just one thing, okay? It's like being lost. There's multiple ways that you can be lost, right? You can reject Jesus, you can ignore Jesus, you can worship Satan, whatever way you want to do it, but there's lots of ways to be lost. This is kind of like that, okay? So there is a beast system. So this system is really going to come into play in the video that we're going to talk about today. Okay, so when we start looking at this word mark from Revelation, we can go to the Strong's Concordance. And if you know the number associated with that word, you can look it up to find out what like the literal meaning of that word is. Okay, so you can get a little bit more understanding about it. So in this case, for this word of mark, the number is G5480. That's the number associated with it, like if you're looking it up, okay? And the word is charagma, right there. Charagma, that's the transliteration of the word mark, okay? And you can see down there in the description it says from the same as G5482. I don't read Greek. G5482, that's this right here. That would be the number associated with that word that I can't read. That's right there next to it, okay? So it's from the same as that word, that one right there, okay? So it means a scratch or an etching. But since it gave us this little clue right here, G5482, we can look that word up because it says it's essentially the same thing. And so we can flip over to that number to get a little bit of a deeper understanding about this word mark in this usage in Revelation, okay? So let's flip over to there. So when we look at G5482, this is the word it referred us over to, right? This word is pronounced charax, right there. All right, and what does it mean? Remember, this is giving us more insight about the word mark in Revelation in regards to the mark of the beast. It means from to sharpen to a point, okay? Through the idea of scratching a stake, like a sharp, pointy stake, okay? You sharpen it to a point, a stake, something like that, is basically what they're trying to tell us the word mark. When John wrote this down in Revelation, that's what he was getting at. And this is important to note because, you know, everything that he saw in Revelation, he didn't always have words for it, or he would describe it the best he could. Because, you know, he saw some amazing things in heaven and things about the future. And he was like, look, it's like this, it's kind of like that, you know. And because he lived in a different time and he was seeing heavenly things, and he's seeing things even in the future for now. So like if he saw a car, let's just say, how would he describe a car, right? Or a spaceship. So these, it really helps to look at some of these words to see what they mean, to get an idea of what was John trying to say when he used the word mark. Okay, so let's keep in mind that this is what Strong's says that it means, to sharpen it to a point, like a pointed stake, like you would put a stake in the ground to hold your tent upright. So as God's people, we have to really be alert, and we have to be watching for what's happening around us. You know, he said, Jesus said to pay attention and be alert, right? So that day doesn't come upon us unawares. Do we have the mark here already? Do we have this charax that it talks about that's a sharp, pointy stake? Did you know the word pharmakia is in Revelation? Okay. Now, a lot of people are not going to accept this because a lot of people have already taken the mark. okay? And if that's you and you've taken the mark, man, if you know the Lord, then I would suggest that you go and try to plead to the Lord to forgive you. But I'm not going to change what I believe is the fulfillment of prophecy just to make somebody feel better because they already took something that they shouldn't have done in the first place, okay? So do I believe that the mark is already here? Yes, I do. Yes, I believe the mark is already here, and there is more proof for that I'm not going to get into in this video, because this is a bigger video than just about the mark. Now, throughout history, though, it has, because of the way Revelation says this, about how if you don't have the mark or the number of his name, etc., then you won't be able to buy or sell, okay? Because of that, there has been a lot of theories and talk around the idea with this whole beast system, because that would be more like the beast system, right? The mark is just one little piece of it. About the fact that people think that there will be a hand scanner or something that would scan your forehead or scan your hand or something like that, right? And we can see that we're going towards something like this already, because we're going away from we're going towards, a cashless society, right? What's the alternative if you don't have if you don't have cash? So you can go to debit cards, okay, but basically it's digital, right? Because you're not holding anything of value in your hand. So you're talking about some kind of a digital currency. And how are people going to access that digital currency? And why would they want to do this, by the way? Why have a digital currency? Well, it's a lot easier to control people that way, right? I noticed that throughout the last couple years here that have been really rough for everybody and been lockdowns, right? Businesses were supposedly hurting, and yet all the businesses that I went to, granted not necessarily the mom and pop shops, but all the normal businesses I went to, they put in more and more of these self-checkout areas. Now, why would they want self-checkout, okay? Well, first of all, people are dying, so I guess they don't have as many workers. But besides that, let's say that you refuse to take their mark, okay? If you refuse to take their mark, and you try to go through the line, well, what if your mom works there, or, a friend works there, and they basically are able to, kind of wink and give you a little exception and let you pass through the line anyways, even though you haven't taken the mark? There's no wiggle room. There's no room for doing favors for people or showing compassion when you're dealing with a computer system or any sort of electronics like that. There's no wiggle room. You either, if you think about a medical person, right, at a hospital, and there's if you've been to a hospital before, they'll have these big areas with double doors, and somebody who is authorized will have a card, a laminated card, that's in their pocket. They'll take it out and they'll put it up to the scanner, right? Then it scans the card and bing, the door is open. They can go in, okay? Think about it that way. If you have the mark, you can buy and you can sell if this is an electronic system. If you don't have the mark, you cannot buy and you cannot sell, okay? Now, I know that technically, I believe the mark's already here, which I already showed you, according to the Greek words and everything. And I can give more proof about that in another video if you guys are interested, because there's a lot more proof out there, but I have to be careful how I say things on here, because I've done it before and I've also been censored before. So, I know that the mark is already here, or I believe it. I really do believe it, according to scripture. I know that in some other countries, that they have already instituted where you cannot buy or sell unless you have this specific mark, okay? So is it a worldwide thing yet? No, but it's definitely going towards that. And I think as the whole world goes towards a cashless society, and as they do more and more of this united UN bullcrap, where countries don't have sovereignty anymore, then it's going to be a lot easier to make this a worldwide requirement. Worldwide, okay? Imagine if everywhere you go, there's nothing but computers to check out through and doors that automatically close, and if you don't have the mark, then you don't go in, okay? That's the way that it is. So this brings me to the next thing that I wanted to talk about, okay? If they're going towards a cashless society, you have to have a mark, right? Or else you can't buy or sell. And of course, they don't want humans there who can, have compassion on one another or sneak you in or whatever else, right? So everything has to be electronic. Well, I noticed 7 months ago that my own local thrift store, and this is just a small thrift store and it's not a chain, you would think that they would be hurting financially throughout all of this with the restrictions and stuff, and yet they were able to put in these machines, okay? They have I don't know, 6 or 8 of them, I think. So that it's almost all automated, where you have to do self-checkout, which I thought was bizarre that they could afford the equipment, right? Maybe they got a government kickback, I don't know. But you can see it says right there at the top too, card only, and this is a picture of it, okay? Well, my kids and I, we noticed that when we were checking out, right back behind there is a hand scanner. And I'll show you. It's right back here, okay? It's behind the pin pad. There was a hand scanner, and I'm going to show you a picture of that. Okay, this is an actual picture of the hand scanner right behind the keypad, right? And you can see right there that it says place wrist here. I don't know what I did. Hold on. Okay, sorry. Try that again. It says place your wrist here. Bung, bung. Right there. Okay? Place your wrist there, and then this center part, it looks like, would scan your hand somehow, like through a chip or through, I don't even know what, right? Just seeing this is very ominous, seeing this at my local thrift store, okay? But it hasn't been in use. Nobody's been using it or anything until we were there this last week. Now, this last week we were checking out, and I had a coupon I was trying to use, and they make you, when you're scanning it, it's funny because they still need people sometimes, and it said on the screen, it said hand your coupon to the attendant who was working all these self-checkouts. So I hand it to the attendant, and she has to basically put in her approval, right, that the coupon is valid or whatever, and it's allowed to discount the stuff that I'm buying. So what does she do? Like, normally you would see them punch in like numbers, right? Like a pin on a pin pad or whatever to say their code as an employee, their employee number. Or I've seen them have a card, like a laminated card in their pocket that they would scan. I've seen that before, but not this time. This time, that worker, she put her wrist right there on that spot, and this machine scanned her hand. And then she started to walk away, and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. So I asked her, I was like, did that just seriously scan your hand? And this is just my local thrift store, dude. This isn't Amazon. I'm in a small town, okay? Well, semi-small. It's pretty small. But I asked her, I was like, did that thing just scan your hand? And she's like, yeah. I was like, do you have like a chip in your hand or what? She's like, no, it just scans your palm. Because you know how you have lines on your palm, just like how you have fingerprints. And so it can kind of like look for the patterns or whatever else, right? So basically this machine scanned her hand, and that was her approval. And it just goes boop, boop, boop. And it was okay, right? And she walked away. This is insane. This is like very ominous. Like I said, I can't believe they're actually using hand scanners at this point. And this goes along perfectly with the mark of the beast system that we're talking about, okay? Where you have to have the mark, and once you have the mark, then you'll be in their system as being approved and being allowed to go through lines like this. Now, if it was a physical card, then I could take that card and I could give it to, like, let's say I got the mark, but my teenage daughter didn't. I could give her my card, and she could go and use it to buy groceries or something, right? They're not going to want that. So it's going to have to be more individual, okay? It's going to have to be scan your hand or scan your finger or scan your forehead. It's going to have to be something like that so that it's individual to you, so they can make sure that every single person is complying with their system, or else you don't buy and you don't sell. So I wanted to bring this to your attention because this is big, that this is the way things are progressing, and this is fast. It was literally 7 months ago they put these machines in. They were just out of nowhere. Just one day they weren't there. The next day they had like 6 or 8 of these machines hooked up. Nobody was using the hand scanners. Now all of a sudden they're using the hand scanners for employees. So can you see the progression? Can you see what's happening here? And can you see that if you don't take their mark, eventually you are not going to be able to buy and sell? Now, there's a little bit more I want to say about this topic. This symbol right here was on the machine, okay? And I've noticed it at multiple places. I think it's at the Walmart machines, too. This is the one at the thrift store. But you can look and see, oh, that's an infinity symbol, right? Where does the infinity symbol come from? Do you guys have any idea? I mean, there's plenty of companies that like to use it lately, right? We know the Meta, they use a little bit of like a melty version. It looks like the infinity symbol that's melting, okay? That's not a coincidence. It's not supposed to be an M, guys, okay? They're not that artsy. And by the way, this guy is a major demon. So, yeah, this is not innocent that they're using the infinity symbol. And it just so happens that this infinity symbol is also on the equipment for hand scanning and checking out. And I've seen it just at multiple businesses lately where they put this symbol out. So like I said, this all has to do with us being wise and paying attention and being observant of what is going on around us, guys. Don't miss this, because I would be willing to bet that if you check around your town, you would start to see some of these things too. Now, what is the origin of this symbol? So it basically goes back to this symbol, okay, which has to do with a snake normally, and you can see what it says there. Oh, it also says reptiles, so that's fun, you know, like reptilian, but anyway. Snakes usually represent temptation as represented in the Garden of Eden. The snake traditionally imparts forbidden knowledge, which is used as a lure by the Illuminati. Serpents are seen in the Ouroboros and Caduceus symbols, okay? So this symbol right here of the snake eating its own tail, it's like an infinity circle, okay? And a variation of that is the infinity sign. That's the same thing. See right here, you can see another variation right here, okay? It's an infinity symbol. It's the same thing with the snake eating its tail. It's just a variation. And here's a quick history lesson on it, okay? This symbol goes way back. This does not have to do with the Lord, by the way. So if you have an infinity symbol on your car, you might want to, like a sticker, you might want to scrape it off, because it doesn't actually have to do with the Lord. I know a lot of people think it does because the Lord is everlasting and stuff, but this symbol is an occult symbol that goes way back, okay? Now let's read this section right down here. I don't have time to do all the research for you, so if you need to do more on your own, then do your own. But this talks a little bit about the secrets of the infinity symbol, and it says, hence the symbol of infinity is a symbol of our endless lessons and incarnations, and wakes us up to wake up and rise like Uraeus, realizing our divinity and claiming our magic. So this is an old-time occult witchcraft symbol. I think it's also in witchcraft books because it's one of their symbols as well. The infinity symbol is old and it's wicked, and that is what Meta chose for their symbol, okay? And it just happens to be the symbol also that is on these machines. So is it a coincidence that we have these infinity symbols everywhere these days? No, it's not. This is all part of the satanic system, okay? The mark of the beast system that they are trying to establish to rule the world, with which you need the mark in order to participate. So I just wanted to bring this to your attention so that you guys would see that things are happening, okay? I know we all get weary, you know, because our redemption hasn't come yet, but this is progressing. This is going towards something, and it is going further and further every day. Like I told you, these things weren't even in place. And then a few, months ago, then all of a sudden they were in place, but nobody was using the hand scanner. Now the hand scanner is being used for employees. There's a great possibility that this is going to be the beast system that controls the whole world, this cashless society where you get scanned, okay? And look, it's becoming a reality. It's actually happening in front of us. And you will have to have their mark, okay? You will have to have their mark if you are going to participate in this new society. So are you going to capitulate? When you're hungry or whatever, you need new clothes, are you going to capitulate and get their mark so that you can be a part of this new society? We are children of the living God, so stay strong, people, because we're his children. We're not children of the devil. We're not going to take the devil's mark, okay? We're not going to have the building blocks of our life, with which our life is made, basically, altered, by some outside source that we choose to put inside of our bodies. Not going to go there, guys. The Lord said that if we would not be ashamed of him, then he will not be ashamed of us in that day. So we got to stand strong through this, but we also got to be smart, pay attention to what's going on around you, and see that things are shifting, and we need to be ready for what's coming. So that's all I'm going to share today, but if you guys have anything that you want to share that you've seen in your towns that goes along with this beast system being instituted, which you will have to have the mark if you are going to participate, go ahead and post those in the comments, man, so we can share and learn from one another. We can all be alert together and maybe bounce ideas off of each other. Otherwise, until the next video, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.